Now, here's the hosts of Top Story, Kelly Klass and Jill Skeen.
Good morning and welcome to Top Story. 7360300 is always the number to call. And good morning, Jill.
Good morning, Kelly. No, you just crack me up. Oh, anyway. Yeah, you do. Whatever. Good morning. Play your
Fine.
Your hand
I
gestures,
make you laugh. That's what you're trying to say.
Your things, yes.
Well,
it's Friday.
Hey. Oh,
I can't
God.
believe A, how fast it went. B, how crazy the week was, and then the weekend will fly by.
Yes, it will. That's always the case.
I know.
Fridays are always 2 or 3 days late, and Mondays are always a couple of days early.
I don't know how that works.
I don't either. Well, this has actually been an exhausting week. Well,
yeah.
we worked late last Friday for the Halloween thing.
Oh, yeah.
And then we had the time change on Sunday morning. And so when 8 o'clock comes around, it's actually, our bodies are used to it being 9 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
So
I found that I've been waking up more at like 4 now.
Yeah,
Thank
exactly.
you very much.
That's right. That's right.
Oh, you're kidding me.
Because once your body gets used to that, and then it'll just get used to it when we switch back the other way again.
Yeah, and Gracie seems to realize 4:30 seems like 5:30, so she'll wake us up too.
And, for those who are interested, maybe you're not, but I've had a little project going on at the house.
Really? What might that be, Kelly
I've
Klass?
been building me a soundproof recording studio.
It's not a padded room, just to sit in
Well,
there.
I'm going to call it a padded room because that's what it looks like. Once you get all the acoustic panels and stuff like that all on the inside, it looks like a padded room.
So after retiring from this radio show will have driven you into a padded room. Is that what you're saying?
That's what I'm saying, pretty much. And so I'm going to pursue a voiceover career, I guess, if you want to call it that. I already have a little one going now, but after I retire, I want to, boost it up a little bit. So
yeah, because you want to retire.
I need to have the proper equipment, and so in order to do that, I wanted it ready to go by a retirement date. So it's just about ready. I just have a couple more things to add to it, and it'll be ready to go. So
wait.
Point of my story is
I've been
getting home
point?
early in the afternoon, and then I start working on that until 6 or 7 o'clock in the evening, and then eat dinner and go to bed. I mean, that's pretty much been my modus operandi for the last month or so.
Aww.
Also want to shout out to Andy for helping me build my studio. I couldn't have done it without him.
Oh, Andy.
Yeah.
Such a good friend, Andy.
I'll say. So anyway,
that's nice. So basically, you're going to go retire to do a voiceover business. So actually, you can just talk and no one can talk back at you.
Yeah, pretty much.
So it's been like almost years of people talking back at you. You're just going to control and do the voiceover, and no one can ever talk back. Is that right?
My wife will be able to talk back.
I'm going to barge into that place one day.
So anyway, that's the story of my life. Now you know everything about me. So
and announce your party again in case people missed it yesterday.
Well, going to have a little going away party so I can meet all of you coming up Friday, November 21st. It was going to be Thursday, but we changed it to Friday because the Chamber of Commerce has its business after hours on that Thursday.
The nerve.
And we wanted somebody to show up to that, you know, so we felt compelled, well, we should probably move ours. So anyway, so it's going to be Friday, 5 to 8 o'clock at the Turf Club on November 21st.
Everyone's invited. Come say goodbye to Kelly.
Yeah, that would be fun.
And he can say goodbye to you.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
So anyway, hey, you know what? It's like Open Mind Friday today. We're going to have some spare time, especially in the 9 o'clock hour. We do have Ella Donahue coming up here shortly for the CSI update. Mm-hmm. At 8:30, we have Danielle Hegman with her senior project. She's going to be explaining to us kind of a neat thing. It has to do with art.
I love when these students come in actually and do their projects, and it's very interesting. And I think it's good experience for them to be on the radio,
absolutely.
Public speaking.
Yes, absolutely.
So she should be interesting.
And maybe they'll hire her as my replacement. You know, you never know. And then at 8:40, we'll have Kirk Tubbs with the Twin Falls County Pest Abatement District. He's got some things coming up he wanted to let you know about. So.
And I'm sure, since we're on video now, of course he always does. He always brings in a little jar of creepy crawlies.
Yeah, I hope he does.
And sits it right next to my desk. So he always seems to enjoy that.
Yes, he does. And so do I, actually.
Yes, because it's farther away from you.
So then during the 9 o'clock hour, we'll have lots of time for an Open Mind Friday.
Yes, and I did tape a KMVT Thanksgiving holiday health tips. It's going to air, though, the day before Thanksgiving, but little tips on how you can make your dishes healthier. It's still tasty, just a little bit healthier.
Wow, you're just so popular. Everybody wants Jill right now.
I'm exhausted. Yeah, no, it's nice. So it's always good. I want to help people to eat a little bit healthier, and why not? You can't taste the difference.
Yeah.
There you go.
We do have some news to report, and it's rather sad news. 2 Idaho Army National Guard pilots died, or soldiers died, when their Apache helicopter crashed just south of Gowan Field in the Boise Airport last evening around 7 o'clock. They have not yet identified them. They are working on notifying next of kin, but apparently they were on a nighttime training mission when the crash occurred. So
sad. So many actually happened during training missions,
That's true. Well, sad. That's when, during the training missions, that's when they're pushing the envelope, trying to learn new skills, and some of that stuff, especially when you do it at night.
Oh, my heart goes out to them and their families, and not only that, and then with the holidays coming up, it's even worse.
I know.
It's always awful to lose someone, but I'm so sorry for their families.
Police are also investigating a couple of attempted robberies again in Twin Falls yesterday afternoon.
I found out about it because Jack and Bradley were at my house, and they're like, "Oh, we got that,"
Yeah.
I just have like a suggestion. I don't know, might be a thought with the rash of pharmacy burglaries. Maybe a few armed security guards, maybe at the front doors for a while to calm it down.
Why?
Where are they going to go? They'll move somewhere else.
Do you think that? You really think that'll work?
I think if someone sees an armed security guard at the front door of any place, it does stop. And it did happen. Like I said before, my sister was held up at gunpoint when she was working for a retailer in Boston. And the stores that had the security guards, they weren't the ones being robbed. It was the ones who didn't. And she ended up quitting because the store refused to get a security guard. And she's literally had PTSD from it ever since.
Wow.
Seriously.
Wow.
I mean, he was...
Well, it kind of makes you wonder, because a lot of these stores have a policy, well, if they come in and they want it, just give it to them and we'll worry about getting them later, So would they say the same thing to an armed security guard? Well, we don't really want anybody shot, so we just want you to stand there and look mean.
No, but I think it would deter someone from going in there in the first place. You see someone who's a security guard standing there.
I don't know.
Are you kidding me?
No,
I'm sure.
I'm not kidding. No, because...
Because if you have a cop there, they would do it too? That wouldn't be a deterrent?
I don't know.
It's the same thing.
I don't know. Because if they... Maybe a cop would be different. If the cop was there on police duty and everything, it might be different. But when you have armed security guards who are hired by the stores, they are essentially the same thing as the hired employee. No. And they're telling their employees, "Oh no, just let him go, just let him go."
That is not true.
I don't know if that would help or not.
That is not true. We hire security guards for our events and things like that. They dress in uniform. They're armed, and you know what? They're just
those are usually off-duty policemen, though.
So, okay, well, they should hire those. They should do something.
But an off-duty policeman, I mean, he's still a policeman.
Oh, my gosh.
But just an armed security guard.
I guess a guy who's on drugs would walk into a Walgreens when they see a guy in uniform with a gun.
A guy on drugs might do absolutely that. Absolutely.
I don't even understand why that doesn't even seem logical to you, which is, amazing to me. You can't even agree on that. Are you kidding?
Hey,
when you have a security guard, let me tell you, if they're in uniforms with a gun,
we want to hire you to stop the robberies, and we want you to wear your gun and all that kind of stuff. But if it really gets into trouble, don't shoot anybody. We wouldn't want that, and don't chase them, for crying out loud. We wouldn't want anybody to get hurt. I mean, it's got to be the same old thing.
Oh my gosh, the absurdity of it all. You're just saying doesn't even make sense.
Well,
I mean,
it does.
it's a deterrent. My
it
gosh.
Does, and I know everybody agrees with me too. So.
No, if you agree with that, something is wrong with you people. I mean, my gosh.
Now, if they wanna arm the pharmacists, then that's a different deal, and say, you know what, shoot them.
Oh yeah, let's put those guys in that position. Oh wait, let me, as I'm counting out your OxyContin, let me shoot you. They shouldn't even get into the door at that point. They should just be at the door.
I was talking to Benito about this morning. He came up with a great idea. He says, why don't they just give them sugar pills or placebos or something? At least they're not getting anything.
Who are we working with here? I mean, my gosh, that doesn't stop the robberies.
Hey, I'm just bringing up some alternatives here.
What do you guys talk about before I get here? These are the ideas you come up with? Are you kidding me? Sugar pills.
I think they should be explosive pills.
Oh my gosh!
I think, and a minute or so after they run out the door, they explode like the banks do with the money packets.
Where's the music and the little da 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 da?
I think that would be great. Don't you?
Actually, I don't.
Look, Dad, look at that drugged man running down the road. Oh, his pill box just exploded. Wouldn't that be funny?
What do you and Benito talk about before I get here? It's crazy. My God.
I told you, it's been a stressful week. It really has.
Well, if you're coming up with ideas like that, what's Benito's excuse? Are you kidding me?
Oh, my. So,
all right.
anyway.
Yay, maybe you guys can be consultants to the Twin Falls Police Department, you know?
736-0300. Top story, you're on the air. Good morning.
Hey, talk about placebo pills. You know, on the farm, when we get too many mice, they have this little vape pellet that just puts out gas, and rodents can't pass gas, so it just blows them up inside. Give that kind of a placebo to a thief, and he'd have a stomach ache that'd never end. And besides that, you could follow the vapor trail.
There you go. That's not a bad idea.
All these women out there are probably like, would it work on my husband? They can't pass gas. There you go. I think you've solved the biggest plan there is.
I think that's the problem, is that husbands can pass gas.
Yeah, I know. Maybe this would stop it.
Yeah.
There you go. That was the whole point.
My gosh, how did we get off on this?
Gone?
I know we have.
Where have we gone?
We have so digressed into the abyss of ridiculousness. But hey, it's fun sometimes.
But it's Friday.
And, it is Friday, and I'm really glad of that. I'm looking forward to the 2-day weekend.
Are you? We have company coming.
Do you?
Yes.
You have company coming every weekend.
I sometimes we had some company last week. I feel like a bed and breakfast. I can hardly keep up with changing the sheets. Seriously, I'm like washing the bathroom. I'm like, what?
Oh my. Hey,
yeah.
Well, let's see. Top story. You're on the air. You got about 10 seconds.
Okay. Armed guards, I mean, come on. How often do you hear in the news that a druggie actually goes and knocks on the police station's door and says, let me in, or tries to rob them? I hear it all the time on the news. They're so drugged up.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, yeah, that shouldn't be a deterrent.
Don't worry. They're not going to let them shoot them, though.
Let's just open the doors.
They're not going to let them shoot them.
Oh, forgot. The guy was shot yesterday. The company will say,
don't shoot anybody. We wouldn't want to hurt anybody. We just want you to stand there and look mean.
What has gone on with you people? Because I say it, then you say no, it doesn't work.
Yeah,
are you guys out of your minds?
Pretty much. We got Ella Donahue next with CSI.
Good.
And welcome back. 736-0300 is the number to call here this morning on Top Story. We have Ella Donahue coming up next with the CSI update. But before we do that, I wanted to tell you the folks at Clearwater Power Equipment have chainsaws, leaf blowers. They've got riding lawnmowers. They got regular lawnmowers. They got hydraulic log splitters. They got little riding snow blowers. What else was it that I saw when I went by there yesterday? All kinds of stuff.
What did you say?
They got chainsaws. They got leaf blowers. Yes, Husqvarna and Echo. And this is, of course, the leaf blower season because the leaves are falling and nobody uses a rake anymore. So you got to get a leaf blower. And they've got them at Clearwater Power Equipment. Try one. Just go down and try one. It will cut your leaf raking job in a quarter, I would say. You know, nowadays it takes sometimes several days to rake the stupid leaves. Take a leaf blower and just blow them up in a pile or blow them over to the neighbors. You know, I mean, hey, you can do it. You can do it. 252 Washington Street or 734-7767 is the number for Clearwater Power Equipment, and that's all they deal in. They don't deal in all kinds of weird stuff, and they know their stuff. They service what they sell too. So we have Ella Fitzgerald.
It's kind of a natural to put those two together, Ella.
Sorry. It is. How are you today, Ella Donahue?
Good. How are you?
We're doing swell. What's going on at CSI? That's the question.
Yes, we have a lot going on this week. The CSI's 36th annual Harvest Time Festival opens this morning and goes through Sunday at the Expo Center. There's going to be more than 200 vendors there with all kinds of goodies, and the hosters are going to be serving lunch, which includes Navajo tacos, baked potatoes, and chili. The admission is $3 per person or $7 for all 3 days. And when you get an admission, you get into the raffle. And the prizes will be be announced every 20 minutes, and the event goes on from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. today and tomorrow. And then on Sunday, it's just going to be from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m.
All right.
Do you have to be
Sounds like
present
fun.
to win the raffles?
I would assume so, but I don't know for sure.
Kelly actually did this show a few years ago.
I did.
It's actually really nice. I usually buy a lot of holiday gifts there.
That's what
Yeah.
they said. A lot of Christmas shopping goes on there.
Oh, absolutely. It's kind of fun, too, just to see what other people do.
And what they make and stuff.
Yeah.
Yes.
People are so crafty.
I know. You think, why didn't I think of that
Yeah.
bracelet made out of an old fork?
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Which sells for $190.
I know. Grandma Silver. Anyway.
All right, what else we got?
We have the CSI Rad Run 5K tomorrow morning. Register is under the front of campus, the flags, starting at 9 a.m. This fundraiser is for the CSI Red Tech program, and the entry fee will be 25 persons. So come be a runner and support the CSI Rad Tech program.
Easy for you to say, Ella.
Yeah, I know, right? I'm not going to do it.
The weather is probably going to be really nice. This
It
has
is
been
gonna
an
be really nice.
incredible weather for November, of all things.
We're going to
Yes.
miss a major cold snap, but anyway, it'll be good tomorrow.
So what else?
The free November Star Party at the Harriet Center Centennial Observatory is from 6:30 p.m. to midnight tomorrow night, so drop by anytime for a great view through the big telescope.
Now, we normally have Chris Anderson on the first Monday of the month, but we had to postpone him this month because we had election the next day, so he'll be coming in next Monday. So I'm sure he probably wanted to really plug this, in his appearance, but since he didn't come in and wasn't able to, we will do it for him.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Star Party tomorrow night.
Be there. Or
Be there.
square.
That's right. All right, what else?
Arts on Tour presents Grupo Fantasma next Wednesday night at 7:30 in the Fine Arts Auditorium. They're Grammy Award winners and have been featured on Breaking Bad and Law & Order. They've also played with Prince and Sheila E. Tickets are $24 each and $10 for high school age and younger.
Now, Cal, you've watched Breaking Bad. Do you remember them?
No.
Do you
don't.
remember Breaking Bad?
Yes.
Okay, that's a start.
Yeah. That was a great series.
Everyone
I have
got
to
addicted.
say.
I didn't watch any of it.
It was
sick.
I kind of watched it as tongue in cheek, and it was just I don't know. Anyway, we'll talk about Breaking Bad some other time. What else we got?
We have the College of Southern Idaho. They're hosting the Region 18 volleyball tournament today and tomorrow in the CSI Gymnasium. The top-seeded Golden Eagles will open at 7 p.m. tonight against the winners of North Idaho and USU Eastern. The championship game will be tomorrow at 1 p.m. Admissions is $8 each day.
All right.
All right.
There's a lot going on.
There's a lot going on.
And we got it all in.
We did. So, Ella, I was going to ask you, did you ever do the corn maze?
I did, and it was
What?
fantastic.
Oh, you did? You did. I thought you said didn't.
No, yes, I did.
Did you get lost?
No, I got this awesome sense of direction.
Seriously?
Yes.
Could you see how people could get lost?
Yeah, but those people are silly people.
Does everyone just follow each other or something?
I don't know. I had me and Mason, we went through it just fine.
Did you do it during Fright Night where they jumped out and scared you?
No, we were actually.
yeah.
What did we do?
When did you do it?
A couple days before, because we were. I wasn't feeling well on Friday. That's what it was. Because I didn't come here. I was getting over being sick, and we went like a couple days before.
We
that.
had to have Doug Mon instead.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was battle of who had the best voices, Kelly or Doug Mon.
I won.
Yeah, Kelly clearly said my voice is better. Down. That was it.
Just a little better.
Just a throwdown right there. It was ugly,
Anyway,
Ella.
Ella, thank you very much. We'll
Ella,
see you next
thank
time.
you. Have a
Yes,
great
see you.
weekend.
This is Top Story on News Radio 1310 KLIX. We have Danielle Hegman in next. She has a senior project to talk about. 7360300 is the number to call here this morning on Top Story. And we have Danielle Hegman with us this morning. And Danielle has a senior project she wanted to talk about. Good morning, Danielle.
Good morning.
So what school do you go to?
I go to Twin Falls High School.
Okay, the old Twin Falls High
Yes.
School. Okay, that's my alma mater.
Okay.
Of course,
Shows you how old it is.
back in the middle of the last century when I went there, that was the only high school in town. So
Yes, yeah.
So what is your senior project?
It's an art exhibit I put together of all my projects I've done during the high school. And I wanted to put together a raffle. So I got 4 other local artists to donate art. And then I have one of my pieces. And all the proceeds from the raffle tickets are going to Stanton Healthcare. And yeah.
So who are the other artists, and why did you decide to come up with this project?
The other artists are Cheryl Bruce, Jason Hicks, Jacob Carter, and Don Oman.
Okay.
So what kind of art do you do?
I do mostly painting, and recently of people.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
I do all I'm all over the place. I do drawing and pastels and paint and all that.
So the one in the upper left-hand corner is yours?
Yes.
Isn't that great?
Can I take a look at that?
Yes, we can.
I know our listeners can't see it, although our viewers. Oh my goodness!
Isn't that great?
Oh wow, yeah. So is that with acrylics or what do you paint with?
Oil.
Okay.
Yeah, that one's with oil.
That's
but I
amazing.
do acrylics quite often.
So you're going to make that your career, you think?
It'll probably be like part of my career, but I'm going into cosmetology, so that'll probably be on the side.
Yeah.
So good, you can do artwork on people's faces.
Yeah.
Which is nice. That's really kind of it.
That's kind
You
of
can take ugly people like me and make them look good.
She's not a miracle worker, Golly. Danielle, so are you going to feature this artwork? Where's the raffle going to take place, and how can people buy raffle tickets?
Okay. The art exhibit is at what is it called? Magic Valley Arts Council. I forget the name. Magic Valley Arts Council, which is by Elevation, and the art exhibit is from 5 to 9, and then the raffle will be held at 8:45.
Is this tonight?
Yes, tonight.
Okay, so tonight,
wow.
people.
And you can buy tickets at the art exhibit.
Okay, and how much are tickets?
$2 for one ticket and $5 for 3.
Okay, great.
Now, you said the proceeds go to what program?
Stanton Healthcare, which used to be a crisis pregnancy center.
And what do they
okay.
do, Danielle, in case people aren't familiar?
Okay, before they just provide like needs of mothers that can't afford like regular like grocery store stuff. So they provide like clothes and cribs and food and baby care. I don't know. And then when they joined with Stanton Healthcare, they now provide more the medical side. So they have like ultrasounds and pregnancy tests and like all that stuff.
Okay. This is kind of your pet project then, huh?
Yes.
And why did you decide to pick Stanton?
I don't know. I just really like believe what they stand for. So I just really wanted to support them because they're a nonprofit organization, so they need money as well. So
I know so many nonprofits do.
Yeah.
So that's nice.
So you got several other artists in the area then to donate their work also?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that was nice of them.
Yeah.
And that looks like you got some really nice stuff there to give away.
Yeah, all the artists I chose have actually been a part of my me growing into the artist I am. So Jason Hicks is my my advisor for my senior project, and then Don Allman, I won a class with him. I think it was last year at the fair, so we did a painting together, and that was pretty cool. And then Cheryl Bruce was my first art teacher.
Oh, nice.
And then Jacob Carter is my art teacher at the high school.
Wow.
Wow.
I picked all people that have kind of like mentored me in my
That's
art.
nice.
see,
Very
yeah.
thoughtful
Good
for a
choice,
young
yeah.
lady.
Yeah.
Huh.
Well,
Deb, you must have done something
How
right.
long have you been painting? Because from the looks of that, you've been doing it a while.
Quite a while. I started before high school, but I really got into it once I got into high school, like my sophomore year.
Okay.
So, but I've been doing art since I don't know, like I was 7 or 8.
You just always remembered
Yeah.
like that
So
you liked it.
Then as you got older, you were able to progress in it to the
Yeah.
point that you are now.
Yeah.
And have you ever sold any of your stuff?
No, I've mostly given away. I haven't sold anything yet.
Well,
but
you
I've
should.
had
It's
offers.
beautiful.
But
Yeah. You had offers?
yeah, I've had offers. I just usually do a piece. Yeah. Yeah, I save it for the exhibit, but
So
But-
tonight again, it's what, 5 to 8?
5 to 9.
5 to 9 at the Magic Valley Arts Council.
Yes.
Raffle tickets, and you win a choice
one
of
of
any.
these pieces. Yep.
So you get
Wow,
to
very
pick which
cool.
one you want.
How we're gonna do it is because you can either be there because we sold tickets before, so at like 3 events. So if you're not able,
We're going to run out of
Danielle.
time.
Okay.
So we're going to
tonight.
take this opportunity to say thanks for what you're doing.
Thank
there.
you.
It's
Best
really
of
great.
luck, and come out and see the artwork. It's great.
Yes, absolutely. Danielle Hagman, thank you very much. And
Thank
this is
you.
Top Story on News Radio 1310. 7360300 is the number to call here this morning on Top Story. You heard us talking about infrared baron, that a comprehensive image service should start with low-cost, high-frequency flights. That's right off of the flyer here from Far More of Idaho. What this is they do overflights of your field when the crops are growing, and then they do it with infrared photography. So infrared shows up stuff that you won't see with a naked eye, so you can see dry spots. Even though you're watering the field with your pivot or whatever, you can see if there are any dry spots, maybe wet spots and stuff like that. And then you can make changes in your irrigation system to take care of those areas. And as a result, your yields will increase. You'll start making more money, and you will find that these infrared baron overflights don't cost. They pay. That's right. So get a hold of them at Far More of Idaho, because they know all about this stuff. And this will give you 2 or 3 months to plan for this. 324-3341 or at farmoreofidaho.com. Kirk Tubbs, the Twin Falls County Pest Abatement District Director. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
All right. Well, thanks for having me on.
Well, you got some stuff coming up here. You're looking for people.
Yep.
Kirk Tubbs wants you.
I know, and look at that's pretty scary here. Why? What,
Well,
to count
if
to
you're-
count mosquitoes or something? To count little like larvae? You didn't bring anything in.
I didn't bring anything in because my focus is a little different today. If you're a resident of Twin Falls County, we have a board of trustees that oversees the pest abatement district, and so those some of their terms are expiring. We have 2 terms that are expiring. So volunteers serve a 4-year term, and they get to oversee the abatement district. Essentially, they're my boss.
Oh, this is
There's
looking
your chance,
up. I
Joe.
know.
Instead of just sitting around on weekends,
I know.
you
Just
could volunteer for this.
lollygagging. So what do they get to do?
Well, it's an unpaid position.
Oh, and it
Okay.
gets better.
So there's a 5-member board from the community. There's also 2 members on the board. That's one from the University of Idaho Extension and one from the Health Department. And so their job is to look at abatement plans, look at how we're doing control work, review budgets, file annual reports, file budget reports.
How much time do you think they have to put into it?
Basically it boils down to 1 meeting a month. So a couple hours a month is about it.
Well, that's the meeting, but what about all this, behind the scenes? You got to look at budgets and do all that. You can't do all that in the meeting, can you?
A lot of that's prepped in advance, and so they have time to look at it. It doesn't take a lot of time, but
Are you being honest here? Because people want to know. Come on, how much time?
no, but but this is your chance as a community member to see where your tax money's going, to have oversight on it, and to really look at this.
And to give back.
Yeah,
Yep.
It's your
it's
chance
always
to
good
give
to
back.
get involved.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and you're retiring, so you've got lots of time, Kelly.
No, I'm going to be busy.
Don't you dare ask Kelly to do anything after December 31st. He's not interested in doing nothing.
So, and I stay out of the selection process, but
That's probably better that way.
You can go to the Twin Falls County website and download the application and the announcement if you want. It's also on the Twin Falls County Pest Abatement District website. And so by the end of the month, they need applications in. The existing board members make selections, send those to the county commissioners, who will then finalize the selection and make appointments.
Do you have to have any experience in any of these little creepy crawlies that you deal with, since they're your bosses? Like, if they don't know what you're dealing with, how good of a boss can they be?
Well, we do spend time educating, but again, this is the public's job to oversee this, so they obviously want people with different backgrounds. So we have a lot of different diversity on the board, and there'll be some training involved to kind of bring you up to speed of how we do control work and what we do. But
So it's just kind of a board that oversees the killing of mosquitoes and black flies and
The harvesting, Kelly. It's harvesting.
Yeah, right.
and protecting public health. And so we do have some, like I said, the Health Department and the University of Idaho Extension are ex officio members, so they're permanent board members. They're there all the time.
Oh, okay.
So we have really good influence from them on what's going on and how to look at it.
People who know what they're doing.
Yeah, and so, if you go fill out the application, send it in, they'll be making those decisions in December. Again, I stay out of that whole selection process. I'm just here to recruit.
And the new members are getting paid twice as much as what the old members are getting.
Probably.
Yeah. Okay.
So, do they have to have a resume? Do they have? What do they
Yep.
submit?
There's an application that you fill out that has some questions you have to answer, and then include why you want to be involved and maybe what skills that you have that would be beneficial.
Okay. Can you use like a fly swatter? Is that experience? Like I know my husband. He would be perfect. He swats anything. It drives me
I
crazy.
encourage everyone to apply.
Okay.
And if we have a lot of applicants this year and you're not selected, in 4 years somebody's term will be up, and so this is a rotational thing, and this is
Can you only
Yeah.
serve one term?
it's recommended that you serve no more than 2 terms.
Okay.
So the current board members, the ones we're replacing, have both served 2 terms.
Because no one else stepped up?
No, because they wanted to.
Oh, so you have the option to stay on if you want to.
Yeah. Yep,
I see.
They
Do you
really
have-
enjoyed it. So
Do you have problems finding people to serve?
we haven't in the past.
Really? A lot
Well,
of
who
people
could
want to do
turn down
this?
a chance to work with Kirk? I mean,
Well,
come
that's
on.
the plus. But, all the creepy crawlies are the things. What do you think the biggest concern is for the county? Like, which little creepy crawly is the top 10 of the list to watch out for?
the most wanted.
Yes.
It depends on who you talk to.
I'm talking to you.
Because if it's from my standpoint, from a public health, when we start
Yeah.
looking at mosquitoes, there's only a couple key species we look at from transmission of West Nile virus, and so we really focus a lot of work around those key species.
Mm-hmm.
While there's others that create nuisances and will really bother people, they really don't have a potential for health risk, and so they're less concerned.
Okay, so here's a question I'm just going to ask because I'm sure it was in the presidential campaign or the recent campaign of everyone. If a mosquito bit someone who had Ebola and then they transferred the blood to you, could you get Ebola? Has that question been asked?
Nobody's asked me that
Seriously?
one, so
Not
I would
yet?
Stumper
assume
of the day.
I would assume not.
Okay, that was
Really? That's kind of interesting.
Yeah,
I would think they would.
Well, once they bite someone and they're filled with blood, they don't bite again, do they? They don't transmit it,
Well,
do they?
it depends on the species. So some species just bite, they go lay eggs, and they die, and they're done.
Mm-hmm.
And we have some of those out even right now that are hatching along the river in a few
Slackers,
places.
yeah.
But there's some, like the KLIXcast species, will bite, lay eggs, and it's that multiple feeding. And so that virus would have to remain active in that mosquito over that time period while they lay eggs, and then they go bite again.
What's the
Yeah.
time period?
It can be several days, it can be a day.
Yeah.
So, things like West Nile virus survives that, and
Yeah.
malaria. There's several examples of things that can. But it has to have the right species has that behavior, that repeated feeding.
Okay.
Are we
spread it.
making headway in the war against mosquitoes? Because, frankly, it seems like I don't see as many mosquitoes as I used to. Is that because of your efforts?
I'd like to take some credit for that, but the real credit goes to the public. People are more conscientious about dumping out standing water, about cleaning up tires, about just, we had tremendous amounts of rain this past summer, as you know.
Yeah.
And so even now I can go find containers with water with mosquito larvae in it.
Wow.
And it's, it's kind of a rare year because it's been so warm this fall.
Yeah.
And all that water was a little bit ordinary, but people are more conscientious of it, and it's made a big difference.
And you said you got bit yesterday.
Yep. I was down on the river doing some surveillance, and I could hear a mosquito flying around, so I waited until it showed up to see what species it was.
And then you said, bite away.
No, I squished it then.
Oh.
So how do you tell?
So usually you have to look under a microscope.
Do you have one that you carry with you?
I do carry a hand lens with me a lot of times.
Okay.
So this one, I've looked at enough of them that oftentimes without it you can tell.
Mm-hmm.
But they have little bands on their legs that you can look at. Their abdomen will be maybe pointed or blunt-ended. The pattern on their wings is slightly different. And under a microscope, mosquitoes are actually quite pretty.
Really? That's interesting.
That is interesting. I think you've
Yeah.
worked in that job too long. Where mosquitoes are looking pretty.
You don't keep pet mosquitoes at home, do you?
I don't. But no, Jill, I'll have to send you a picture of one that when we take under a microscope.
Please. Why don't you just bring in a big one, a life-size one, so I can look?
I would gladly do that.
I know.
So now you don't just hunt mosquitoes, you do other things, and you got stuff even in the wintertime that you do.
Yeah, so when we talk about buffalo gnats or black flies, their larva will overwinter as a larva. And so when conditions are right, water temperature's right, we'll go and treat for those larvae. And so I was doing some surveillance yesterday down on the river to see where I could treat and where I couldn't. And so we just put out a natural soil bacteria and they feed on as it travels through. And this is where we get a lot of bang for our buck, because they're not going anywhere. The canals are dry. There's less area to treat, and so if we can really target these and get a lot of.
Are those the things that when you're standing outside right now for some sort of, they're flying around your head?
Yes, the Idaho wave where you hold your hand up right above your head so they fly up around it.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, wait. It's like a distraction? Like, hey, look over here? Is that what you're talking about?
I remember when I baled hay with a tractor without a cab, you'd get a stick and put on it and then tie a red hanky or something at the top of it, and they would fly around that and leave you alone. Oh, yeah.
I've been living out. Do they like the color red? Are they like bulls?
So this species is, and we have several, but the one that is predominant here bites livestock, and they bite them around the head.
Oh.
And so they just kind of tend to circle around that highest object. And so, you hold your hand up, they'll fly up around your hand.
I never heard of that. I learn something new every day.
And they can cause a lot of damage, and they can cause infections in livestock eyes and stuff like that. They're really a mess.
And, the big reason why Twin Falls County got involved with those is because of vesicular stomatitis. It mimics foot and mouth disease. These little guys transmit it. And so when we had an outbreak back in the 70s, it caused a quarantine, which was very expensive to the livestock industry.
Yeah. Wow.
Did they get rid of it?
It comes and goes. This year there was a whole bunch of that down in Texas. And so you typically see it kind of spread from Mexico, Texas on up. And, all it takes is one horse moving from a rodeo or one cow being shipped around, and suddenly you have it somewhere else.
So are we kind of expecting it again then?
With all these diseases, at some point, they'll probably show up again. So if we keep the vectors low that transmit it, it will help reduce the likelihood. And, black flies, they fly 20 to 30 miles. So if it shows up in one part of the county, it's in this area.
Yeah. So we got mosquitoes, black flies. What else do you tackle?
That's it for now, unless the commissioners or the board determine there's something else. But our task is protecting public health from, insects like this or things that have a big socioeconomic impact. And right now that's currently defined as mosquitoes and black flies. It could change, but that's what our focus is.
And that is obviously a full-time job, isn't it?
Yes.
Clearly, because Kirk's here.
Yeah, well, you don't do it part-time. I mean, this is your...
Yep.
Yeah.
This is your life, and you love it, don't you?
If
mosquitoes are looking pretty to you, Kirk, you have to love it at this point.
So my background is in biology.
Okay.
I worked in wildlife biology for 10 years before I took this job. And so biology to me is fascinating. That science of getting out there and understanding how it works and spending time in the field and figuring this out. And this job, I have less work in the winter than I do in the summer per se, but the EPA through their permits and all the things that are required now seems to make up for all that.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
So
interesting. And I know you do a lot, not through your job, but you do a lot with bees too.
Yes.
So that kind of makes sense when you have a background in biology, and because bees are a fascinating creature.
Oh, same way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fascinating.
And that's why it's so, because you use, I guess you might say, non-toxic stuff to kill the black flies and the mosquitoes.
Yeah, we take what's called an integrated pest management approach. So we want to use what's the safest products first. We'll have the least impact to other things. And so we start there, but all tools are on the table, and we want to use what's the most appropriate for the job.
So if things got really bad, we might have to pull out the big guns and the toxic chemicals, huh?
Yeah, what would that be?
There's lots of options out
DDT.
there. No, not DDT.
Okay, good. Let's just make that perfectly clear. Okay.
Things that are licensed and commonly used.
Okay.
But it makes a lot more sense to dump out that water that has the mosquito larvae in it.
Yeah.
Or maybe put a bacteria on it that they feed in and get them before they even fly away than to wait and have to drive around with a fog truck and try and target them when they're flying over a big area.
But Kirk, in the past you said the larva can live for how long? Like if you dump it out and there's a bunch of mosquito larvae, then it dries out when the water comes or the spring, the warm weather, then do they become mosquitoes again?
If those larvae are growing and you dump them out, they're dead.
They're dead. Okay.
But one thing that mosquitoes, certain species will lay eggs into the soil, and they'll sit there for years until we have the right flood conditions.
Yeah, that's interesting. Okay, so tell folks how they can put in an application for...
To be your boss.
Yeah.
So just go to twinfallscounty.org, and they have, or Twin Falls County Pest Abatement District, just do a search online, and there's applications on both of them. And just fill that out and send it in. And
they will be accepted through December 1st, so there's a deadline on this.
Yep.
So do it quickly.
All right, very good. Kirk Tubbs, thank you very much.
Thank
Always
you.
fun.
I
All right,
hope you get some
appreciate it.
good bosses.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, next hour, we're going to have an Open Mind Friday session and talk about some other stuff here on Top Story. And welcome back to Top Story, 7360300 is always the number to call. Welcome back, Jill.
Thank you. Same to you, Cal.
And Open Mind Friday, why not, you know?
Why not? It's about time.
Yeah.
Let us just sit
Things have been
back
so-
and you guys just chat it up.
Well, it's been so busy here, with the election season and
I
such,
know.
that we haven't had a lot of time for this. So
No.
this hour we do. We have no interviews scheduled. We do have some news to talk about. One of them, of course, being a federal appellate court on Thursday, which upheld anti-gay marriage laws in 4 states, breaking ranks with other courts that have considered the issue and setting up the prospect for a Supreme Court review. I'll bet that they did that for this reason, so that it would go to the Supreme Court and let the Supreme Court decide. But the 6th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals panel that heard arguments on gay marriage bans or restrictions in Ohio, Michigan, Kentucky, and Tennessee on August 6th split 2-1 with Circuit Judge Jeffrey Sutton writing the majority opinion. The ruling creates a divide now among federal appeals courts, increasing the likelihood the Supreme Court will now take up the issue. So even the courts have their methods, don't they?
Well, yeah. I mean, you think it's kind of shocking their ruling, especially with everyone else saying it's unconstitutional. But that's why the Supreme Court rejected it, because they said there was nothing to counter it. So maybe that's what they did, although their fellow judges were not too happy. So,
and this is their way of saying we don't like that decision, so we want the Supreme Court to take it. So now the Supreme Court will probably take it. But
they would have to. That was the reason why they said they didn't take it.
The ruling concluded the states have the right to set rules for marriage. So Idaho will be certainly interested in this particular issue. But that followed more than 20 court victories for supporters of same-sex marriage since the U.S. Supreme Court struck down part of the Federal Defense of Marriage Act last year. A federal judge in Louisiana recently upheld the state's ban, but 4 U.S. appeals courts ruled against those bans.
Well, this would open a whole can of worms. If the Supreme Court says no to same-sex marriage and you have it legal in 32 states, my goodness gracious, who is calling you? Do we have problems going on?
Yeah, it's an
Does
issue
anyone
that
not
I can't
listen
deal
to
with
our-
right now.
our
No,
show?
it's not that. It's not anybody.
No,
It's too hard to explain.
People must know you're tied up. They obviously don't listen to our show.
It's not a person. It's a computer that's calling.
Why
me.
is a computer calling
you? know, I have a lonely life, so
Oh my goodness.
No, anyway,
Did you ever
I'm
see
just
that
saying.
movie? That one movie? I didn't see it, where the guy was in love with his computer. What was that called? It was with Joaquin Phoenix or
Joaquin Phoenix?
No, that's not him. Was it? Yeah, it was. It was just out like
No,
last summer or
I
something.
apparently didn't see that one.
Maybe your computer should tell you to go watch it or rent it.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe. Anyway, so there's that news. Now, if the phone will leave me alone, not being able to find a date might seem like an emergency, but it's not a reason to call 911.
Oh, it's not. You're not so desperate on a Saturday night that you should call 911 because you don't have a date?
I know there have been people
Are you
call
kidding?
911 because they got screwed out of a drug deal or something like that,
Or
so
they
they call
didn't-
911. I
Didn't
tell you,
make the right sandwich. Remember
yeah,
that one?
Yeah.
Oy.
Case in point, Stephen Ramsey, 45, of Naples, Florida, was arrested Tuesday after allegedly calling 911 3 times and asking the dispatcher if she was interested on going on a date. For the record, she was not.
Well, thank you.
Still, Ramsey kept her on the phone for more than 6 minutes and asked her if she was into handcuffs. He then laughed before finally hanging up the phone.
And he probably thought, they'll never find me.
Well, he was surprised.
Knock,
because
knock, knock on the door.
a deputy was sent to the suspect's home. Ramsey allegedly told him he was looking for a date or escort service to help him pass the time.
I'm sure he was.
The officer said Ramsey was slurring his speech heavily and had a strong odor of an alcoholic beverage coming from his breath. Ramsey was charged with misuse of 911 and is currently in the Collier County Jail on $2,000 bond.
Sobering up, saying, "Why did I do that? I didn't even know if she was hot.
Yeah,
I just went by her voice. Do you know how dangerous that could be? Is to just go by someone's voice? Do you have any idea? After having as many blind dates as I've had,
Yeah,
voice means nothing, Kelly. Nothing.
Did a blind date ever work out for you?
No, because I mean, obviously no. I married Tom, but no. Otherwise, I'd be with them.
Was he not a blind date?
No. I met him at a program. I actually saw the man and talked to the man.
I see.
In person.
All right.
No,
Well,
my
that was
blind
different.
dates have been pretty bad. That's all I can say.
And the continuing
And especially
life
when
saga
you're,
of Jill's tragic life.
especially when you're Jewish. If there's a Jewish guy who's, I think, just alive and breathing, they fix you up. It doesn't matter if you have anything in common. It doesn't matter. They're Jewish, alive and breathing. That's it. That was the criteria for some people. For me. Thank you.
Okay,
I
well,
move on.
Absolutely. 7360300 is the number to call on this Open Mind Friday. And here's one of the things that we wanted to talk about.
Yes.
From dividing up belongings to moving out of a shared apartment, breakups can be tough.
You're going to have to break up with that computer.
I know.
Sorry,
Well-
leave him alone. God's sakes, he's working.
I know. It's something that I can't fix right now, you know.
She just
so I'm
doesn't
gonna
understand.
Have to wait till Mike, my helper, gets the call, and he'll be able to fix it.
Well, tell him what we were going to talk about.
Well, I got a caller right now,
Okay,
so let's
all
take it
right.
on this Open Mind Friday, right? Top story, you're on the air. Good morning.
Blind date, 26 years and married.
Way to go. Way to go.
It worked for you, huh?
It's the only time I've been on one.
No, that was your
kidding.
one and only blind date?
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. Was that your only date ever?
No,
Oh,
it's
okay.
the only blind date.
Okay. All right.
Wow.
So I was going to say, so you didn't just grab the first thing that came along.
Kelly.
No.
Kelly. Yeah, you were so desperate. She said yes, so I think I'll marry her. Oh, my goodness.
Hey, you never know. Sometimes.
Wow.
Okay. Hey, we're glad it worked out.
And glad you weren't desperate to just marry the first one who said yes to a date. Okay, good.
Thanks for the call. Appreciate that. There you go. See?
Yeah.
Sometimes
They can
things do
work out.
Yes, they can.
Lord
All
knows
right.
I've had enough. Go on.
From dividing up belongings to moving out of a shared apartment, breakups can be tough. But what do you do when you have a furry friend to further complicate matters?
Mm-hmm.
For Scott Ladotti, the decision was easy. When it came to choosing between salvaging his relationship and keeping his dog, he did not hesitate. He said, when my girlfriend gave the ultimatum, it really wasn't a question. I lived in my car for like 4 days with my dog before my parents would let us back into their house, but I would have been homeless with her forever.
I agree.
As Ladotti explained, his relationship had been on the rocks for a while. He said, I sort of got the dog, I guess, to try to save the relationship. I mean, I'd always wanted a dog, and we were living in a terrible area, so I thought getting a dog was probably the best idea. I mean, we would have fallen apart anyway. This definitely accelerated it. So what happened was, apparently, she gave him the ultimatum, it's me or the dog, and so he said, you know what, I'm keeping the dog. Bye-bye, sweetheart.
I don't blame him. Plus, he thought the dog would help the relationship. Like some people think a baby would help the relationship.
Yeah,
It
well,
doesn't.
at least they chose the dog and not a baby.
But yeah, no. You know what? When Tom met me, I had 2 cats, Lizzie and Gracie, and I don't know if he even knew cats were indoors because he was from Buell and farmers, and they don't even think animals can be
Right,
inside. And
They're work animals, for crying
yes.
out loud.
What do you mean you're not chasing mice?
Son, go hitch the cats up to the sleigh.
They don't do anything. I'm like, they love me. But no, if anyone ever asked me to get rid of my pets, I mean, to me, it'd also be like a child. I would never date that person again.
Yeah.
I mean, for someone to ask you to give up something you love so much, they don't have your best interests in mind, and that would not be someone I would be with.
Yeah.
No way. I would leave them. I would never date someone like that.
What if you were married to someone like that and they gave you the ultimatum?
What do you mean?
If you were married, would you divorce
I mean,
them?
if I already had the dog or the animal or the pet, I
Yeah.
wouldn't. If I already had it, it'd be like, hey, I came with 2 cats, and that's how
Yeah.
it is. And if they
Well-
wanted me to give up my cats, I would. I mean, to me, that is just how could someone ask you to do that? What kind of person would that be?
So what if you got
yes,
the cats?
I would leave them.
What if you got the cats after you were married?
Then I assumed he was part of the decision.
Okay, but you fell in love with the cats more than he did, and he gets jealous, and he says, you know what, we just can't have this anymore. It's me or the cats. Your husband or the cats.
It could be the cats.
Wow.
I'm sorry,
stuff.
I couldn't, because first of all, if I had to give up my cats, which to me are my pets, my children, because I have no kids, to me, I would have such resentment for that person, I couldn't live with them anymore. I would be so upset. I mean, really, how could you even choose? How could you even ask someone to choose? You know, and there's no way. I've had pets my whole life.
I wonder if anybody listening has ever been in that situation, or what would you do if your significant other came to you and said, I've had it. It's either me or your pet. What would you do?
I'd say there's the door.
You do.
I mean, I'm sorry, but there's no, and and Tom used to joke, I don't know if he jokes like, the cats don't like me, or he'll still say, Gracie, why doesn't Gracie let me pick her up? It's been like 11 years now. It's like, I'm sorry. They're just my babies. He loves them though. He loved Lizzie and now he loves both of them. Well,
good.
We're down to one.
7360300. Top story, you're on the air. What would you do?
I am not that big into animals.
What?
I mean, they're all right, but they're still animals. They're not humans.
So if your significant, are you married?
Yes.
So if your significant other came to you and said it's her or the pet,
It would be her. I mean,
you'd choose her over the pet.
I'd choose her over the pet, yes.
Okay. Well, because pets aren't very good cooks, right?
Gosh.
Well, like I said, pets are all right, but they're still just animals.
Okay. All right.
They're
well,
not just animals to
There you
me. One more thing we don't agree on. You think you could even find some common ground with puppies, but I guess not. Are you kidding me? It'd be like...
7360300. Top story, you're on the air. What would you
do?
do?
What would I do about what? Giving up my animals?
Yeah, if your significant other came to you and said it's either me or your pet, what would you do?
I would have to say bye-bye to that person. My animals are my kids.
There you go. Mine
All
too.
right.
Okay, so 2 to give up person. Okay.
All right.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
All right.
Have you ever dated anyone that said, I'm not really fond of cats, and you might have cats, or vice versa?
After that kind of conversation initially, no. It was kind of like a bye-bye thing.
Yeah.
And after that, you had them fill out a questionnaire before you dated them, right? Do you like pets?
Yeah,
No.
that's exactly right.
I hear you, man. I hear you. All right. Thanks for the call. Appreciate it. We got calls coming in. What would you do? Your significant other or keep your pet? This is Top Story, and we'll find out next. 7360300 is the number to call here this morning on Top Story. Welcome back. The word of the day is brought to you by the Happy Landing Restaurant. If you want to watch some football, they have $2 drink specials on Sunday afternoons during football time. Happy Landing Restaurant at the Twin Falls Airport. You don't have to be flying anywhere to go to the Happy Landing. And they have good old homemade meals.
That's right.
Good place to eat. Happy Landing Restaurant. Yesterday's $100 instant winning name is Lee Spiker.
Lee Spiker, congratulations.
And your $100 word of the day for today is jumbo.
Jumbo.
Jumbo. Jumbo, like jumbo shrimp.
Jumbo TV.
Yeah, go to our website, newsradio1310.com, type in, click on word of the day, type in jumbo, and then listen Monday. And if you hear your name Monday and you play the word today, you win $100, just like that.
Wow.
Okay, we're doing a little online poll here. If your significant other gave you the ultimatum, it's either me or the pet, which would you decide? Top Story, you are on the air. Good morning.
Good morning.
Which would you decide?
Yes, in my case, it was a horse, and I dated a young man for over a year. We became engaged for about 6 months, and 2 weeks before the wedding, after no word said at all that time, he said, well, now you have to get rid of the horse. So I said, okay, here's your ring.
No
Adios.
kidding.
And what did he say? Was he surprised?
He was a little surprised, but he didn't compromise, and so I said, no, adios.
Wow.
Good for you,
That's a
because
great
it's
story.
like almost like a control thing. Like,
Yeah.
first it's the horse, then what is it?
Yeah.
And greatest decision I ever made because I followed his future, and it wasn't good.
Oh, really?
What happened to him?
Well, he had a very unhappy marriage.
Aw.
Well, no wonder.
Probably told her to give up her pets.
That's right.
Oh my God, good for
Yeah.
you.
Thanks for that story. That's an interesting
love
story.
that.
Absolutely.
I think it's a control issue.
Yeah, it is. And why would somebody want to do that? If it makes you happy, what difference?
Well, wouldn't you want your,
Don't you
your
want
partner to
harmony
be
in the-
happy?
Yeah, you would think.
I would have such resentment. I would be spitting nails. There's no way if I had to give up my animals. Are you kidding me?
7360300, top story. You were on the air. What would you do?
Well, I'll answer your question with a personal philosophy of my own. When I'm driving out in the country, because I grew up out in the country, I will not swerve for anything smaller than a Great Dane. It's too dangerous.
You are right. You are correct. It is.
That is not what I do.
I grew up raising steers.
Yeah.
And the few that I did grow attached to, I enjoyed eating them just as much as the ones I didn't.
Oh my gosh!
I can understand that coming from a farming and a rural background. I can understand
obviously,
that.
if it's a relationship that I'm not real attached to, or I don't feel like it's going to last, and I'm really attached to a dog or something, then the ultimatum would turn out one way. But if my wife asked me to get rid of something, I'm not going to give up a marriage for it.
Yeah. Well,
it's an animal.
Yeah, I
clearly,
can understand
now
that.
I cannot understand
well,
that. But anyway.
and I don't know about you, but I have found that on the farm, the commodity animals are one thing and the pets are another. At least to me, my pets are my pets. They're like my kids.
Maybe you've given up
Mabel. If I have 100 steers. If I have 100 steers in the corral and I become attached to one of them, you're absolutely right. The steaks are just as good from that one as they are the other 99.
Oh, my gosh.
So,
Thanks for
the
sharing.
call. Appreciate
Okay,
that.
so that's a no. Okay, fine.
Well, and I know that like 4-H kids, I mean, they raise these steers from very young. And they're with them every single day, and they care for them. And
I know.
I know.
We're talking about cats and pets.
And then,
okay, come on.
I mean, any animal can be a pet, actually.
Well, a lot of them don't view those as pets. They view them as an investment.
That's
so
exactly right.
we're talking
And
about a
that's
pet that has an emotional attachment to the pet.
Like probably a dog or a cat.
Yes, or she had a horse,
it's
but
even difficult for me to understand sometimes a cat. I mean,
I
know,
Uncle Kelly.
I know. I'm sorry.
Okay, I hope Gracie's not listening today.
We have a cat at the house that we kind of adopted from my grandson. And the cat's fine, and we haven't had as big of a mouse problem since we got the cat.
So it comes in handy, huh?
It does, yeah. But the minute those
Oh.
mice are back, that cat's gone. You know what I'm saying?
Stop.
You've fallen down on your job there,
Connie,
buddy.
you leave him.
I find it, and it's a fine cat, and it'll jump up on my lap, and I'll pet it and stuff, but we don't have an emotional attachment.
But
like I do with my
but we're
doggies.
talking about an emotional attachment to either whatever you consider a pet.
You
got Mabel.
It's just true
I
confession
have
here.
Gracie. I used to have Lizzie.
7360300. Top story. You are on the air. What would you do?
Well, this is the Burley guy. Good morning.
Good
Burley
morning.
guy, don't disappoint me.
I won't, Jill. I tell you what, we've inherited some grand dogs and rescued some dogs, and right now my wife and my daughter are down in Moab, Utah, and they went down to work at a shelter for dogs, and they take them home at night. So they're
so you're kind of
they're
like-minded
kids.
on that.
They're kids.
Yeah.
They're
so you're
kids.
kind of like-minded. You and your better half.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
she got good judgment because she married me, so I can't fault her.
Yeah, that's right. Maybe you're the one who should not give her the ultimatum, huh?
No, I'd be gone in a minute. Hey, but I do. Anybody that's got any human compassion, animals they're just looking at you for love. So.
Yeah,
I
that's
know.
right.
Total
That's
unconditional love. Okay, so right now we're at 4-2.
All right. Thanks for the call. Appreciate that. We'll be right back on Top Story. What would you do if your better half gave you the ultimatum? It's me or the pet, buddy. Or Babette. Could be Babette.
Could
Hey,
be.
we'll be right back. 7360300 is the number to call. What's the count now? 4-2?
4-2.
4-2.
Four people would give up the person, and 2 would not.
All right. Well, before we get back to our
Cold, heartless people. My gosh. Little Fluffy, you would take him to an animal shelter and look at his little eyes. Daddy, why are you leaving me?
Well, I tell you, the folks at Stanley and Company probably wouldn't give up their pets, but they do have the low and honey loader. And we've been talking about this. You're looking at a low and honey loader for your feedlot or dairy operation, but I know how it is. Before you plunk down the money, you want to see it work, right? You want to see all the little intricacies of it. You want to talk to people who've owned the thing. Mm-hmm. Well, you can do that. Pat Hartzell is the guy from Stanley and Company. He can fix you up with an appointment to see one of these in operation, talk to the owner, do all that stuff. 280-1167 is his number, and he can help you out. 280-1167, Pat Hartzell. Write that number down. Now, if you don't have a big feedlot or dairy, probably don't have any use for a low and honey loader. But if you do, you do. So remember that number.
Oh.
Well, we're kind of taking a little poll here. If your significant other gave you the ultimatum,
or
say,
maybe not significant, maybe someone you're dating, because significant other means like almost like you'd leave your wife, or you've already.
Yeah, I guess there are
if you're
kind of
dating someone.
If it's the wife, you might definitely tell her to get lost. But if it's a date, you might think, well, I don't know.
No, but
okay,
when
I
you
use
start
the wife,
a relate-
I should use also husband.
I know.
I said your spouse. How's
say
that?
You're dating someone, because I view it more like a start of a relationship, and then you're probably on good behavior for a while, and then all of a sudden you're like, you know what, your dog's annoying me. It's like, really? Well, you're annoying me. So choose the dog between you and me. Well,
right.
I'm choosing the
dog.
dog.
So would you give up your pet for the significant
other?
No,
I would give up the.
Right, I know,
dating.
but that's the question.
That's the
Would
question.
you give up your significant other or give up the pet? 736-0300. Top story. You were on the air. Good morning. What would you do?
Well, good morning.
Good morning.
I'm thinking that there's probably a lot more to it than just get rid of the pet. There's got to be some kind of a problem going on with the person and the pet and behaviors, etc. For instance, when I got married to my first husband, he had a dog, and I said, that's fine, but the dogs don't sleep in my bed. I can sleep at the foot of the bed and things like that. But
what kind of a harsh individual are you anyway?
What?
Well, it's called this. He was a bird dog, and they would go out hunting. Well, I don't want chicks in my bed. Just saying. They go out. You live in a ranch area, they roll in poop and everything else. I don't want that on my bed.
Okay. All right.
So
fair enough.
I don't know that I would be at the point of, there'd have to be a lot going on, I think, before somebody says, give up your pet or I'm out of here.
Yeah, but it does happen.
Yeah, it does.
It does, but, I would also kind of poke them and say, you're looking pretty good there, guy. I think I can roast that leg.
I think I can what? What did she say? You think I can what?
Tell her again.
No, I'd poke him and say, that ham is looking pretty good there. Roast his leg.
I know. I've heard it.
You have to grow up on a ranch.
Yes, you do.
I was like, I have no idea what you're saying.
I heard a joke about that once. Shall I tell the joke? Okay, there's this three-legged pig that's running around the house, and it was their pet, and they had company over one night, and they said, what's the story with that three-legged pig? How come it's only got 3 legs? It didn't. And they said, well, it didn't start out that way. He had 4 legs. Really? It had 4 legs, and now it's only got 3? He says, when you love a pet that much, you can't eat them all at once.
Oh, my gosh. But I'm bump. I could live without that joke, and I think I might have broken up with this woman. That's for sure. Too. No.
Okay. Anyway, I know it was a
I would
bad
have
joke.
That's bad.
It was funny at the time.
Oh, I'm sure.
Maybe when I first heard it, I had a little glass of wine or something.
Think?
I don't know.
A real knee slapper on that one, if you still have a knee.
At any rate.
We digress.
I know.
I'm sorry. I just think views like this as a person, if you're dating someone, you would have to have the same views on animals. For me,
and I'm not. I would think the same thing.
You know what I mean?
Would think through the dating process that Well, it's like
before you lived together, these guys were living together.
One of our first callers said that she was dating this guy, and he said, your horse has got to go. So they found that out in the dating process, which is...
No, 2 weeks before the wedding.
I understand that, but they weren't married yet.
Crazy.
So it was technically still the dating process. So.
At that point, like, my gosh.
Top story, you're on the air. What would you do?
The bottom line is, if you love a pet more than you love your significant other, you got problems anyway.
Well, if you come with your pets, your significant other should love you and your pets and should not ask you to give up your pets.
But then there's always the pet afterwards, because after you get the pet, after you're married, then you could really become attached to the pet, and the spouse could become jealous and then decide
How
there's got to be
insecure
something
could you
happens.
be?
So actually, he's kind of right. There
How
would be other things going on.
insecure could you be?
fell out of love with your spouse and fell in love with your pet.
Maybe
So,
your
I
pet
guess there's
treats
other
you
issues
better
going
than
there.
your significant other.
We'll be right back. 7360300 is the number to call here this morning on Top Story. We are back. Dave Hansen and the crew at Canyon Pond says, come on down, see what we've got. They got lots of guns in the display cases there. They've got lots of jewelry. They've got watches. They've got tools, woodworking equipment, camping supplies. They've got stuff down there. Yeah, kitchen stuff. It's a typical pawn shop, only it's clean.
Oh, they have that electric guitar.
And an electric guitar.
Which is really cool.
That's right. Yeah,
historic.
What else?
And a Boy Scout thing.
A Boy Scout
thing.
Boy
Scouts,
that's right.
You need to go down there. There was an old camera with this, still has the old film in it from 1930, something crazy.
Yeah.
Anyway.
No telling what's on that unexposed
I
film.
know. He could tear the Boy Scouts organization wide open. What's on that film?
Anyway, the point is they've got stuff down there that you can't imagine, and because it is a pawn store, pawn shop.
It is. It's cool.
It's Twin Falls' newest pawn shop. They are located right across from Wills Toyota on Shoshone Street on 3rd Avenue South. Big sign right out front. So come on down and
Ta-di-da, there you go.
Yeah, Canyon Pond. Okay, just move on to some other things here. One of the stories I was reading this morning, absolutely fascinating. Researchers have achieved, and this is not a spoof. This is the real thing. Researchers achieved brain-to-brain communication, where one person was able to control the movements of another person's hand by simply thinking about it. Yeah, I know. You've tried that all along, and once in a while I will slap myself in the face, but I'm not sure if that's you or not. But anyway, the study published yesterday by the University of Washington involved 3 pairs of participants working together to play a computer game. Each duo was comprised of a sender and a corresponding receiver who sat in a room half-mile away.
Wow.
And the person that was watching this video game, and they were thinking of the moves they had to make, and the receiver was a half a mile away in another room, and all they didn't have a computer screen. They couldn't see what was going on, but they did have a mouse that would control the screen. And so the one person watching the screen would send the brainwaves to the other person controlling the mouse.
It's like mental telepathy.
Yeah.
They used to do that, with so many things.
But
what am I thinking now, Kelly?
I can imagine what you're thinking.
Yeah.
But anyway, this kind of stuff just really fascinates me. In the accuracy among pairs varied from 25 to 83%. But the researchers found that most misses were caused by senders failing to accurately execute the fire command rather than by failure of the receivers actually getting the message. So can you imagine
the power
you would have if you could do this? Brain
control.
I
mean, there is a lot of things to vibes and mental telepathy, and who are the guys that bend the spoons using their brains and they look at it and
have you ever? This happens to me every once in a while. I'll be thinking just out of a blue of something or a person.
Oh yeah, it happens all the time.
And then the phone rings and it's them.
It's true.
It's just, and I was just thinking about you.
Didn't you say a nap does that too? if you got to lay down. Makes the
Yeah,
phone
a
ring.
nap always. I don't take naps in the afternoon because it makes the
phone
ring.
I
Yeah.
know. It's
But,
true.
I don't know. I think maybe all of us are equipped a little bit with some of this mental telepathy. And up till now, up till recently, really, it's kind of been one of those, I don't really believe in that sort of thing, and that's...
Until it happens to you.
I think there's something to it.
Oh, yeah.
I really do. And when your kids are growing up and all of a sudden you get this feeling that something is wrong, something has happened.
It's like gut feels.
Yeah,
it's like
when the kids
intuition.
were at home, that happened to me on several occasions, and I was always right.
Oh. Kelly,
so there
Mr.
you go.
Intuition.
I know.
Wow.
We call it intuition. I think it's probably mental telepathy or something.
Wow, that's
Somebody,
the same
kids
sort of
are
thing.
sending you the message. Oh man, I hope my parents don't find out. And then you get that message, and then you hear that. Oh, what is it that happened that my kids don't want me to find out about?
Busted.
So I don't know. I'm just saying.
Just saying, it's out there.
I think it is.
Well, there we go. What am I thinking right now?
Well,
I need a nap.
yeah, that too. I don't know. I was going to real quickly read another story here. If that's okay.
Oh.
As long as we're talking about this sort of stuff and
sorry,
technology.
Kelly class.
There's more computer power in some of this year's top Christmas toys than the first moon mission.
Wow, that's amazing.
The 12 toys predicted to top children's wish list feature the most advanced technology available, including voice recognition software, photo editing and video, while some connect directly to the internet and can be controlled via mobile phone apps and iPads.
Oh,
These
my
are toys
goodness.
we're talking about. These are like dolls. The Dream Toys Top 12 list annually by the Toy Retailers Association. One of them is a doll. If I can find out where it's at here. But
So they need capabilities to edit films and stuff. I mean, these little kids.
I guess so.
Let's. What are they doing?
So, but they've got more computer power than the first moon mission. That's the scary
That's
part
crazy.
right there. So now you're a whole lot more educated than you were. You're thinking, wow, if I only had that when I was a kid.
I know
Look
it.
where I'd be today. It's time now for the Huckabee Report, brought to you by Waddell & Reed. And you can hear the Huckabee Report each weekday at this time, brought to you exclusively by Waddell & Reed. Laura Nelson, Josh Funk, and Steve Stanger are the financial advisors, and the number is 736-6563.
And don't forget, this weekend, actually tomorrow night, Home is Where the Art is at Habitat for Humanity on Eastland Road. They are doing a silent auction. They're also going to do a live auction. And two of my
All right, now what are we going to bid?
two of my pieces of art are in it.
Yes.
Yes.
Not art that you
No,
produced,
that I
but
purchased
art that
years
you had,
ago. Yes, that I was just tired of. I have this beautiful lithograph. She's lovely. I always thought this artist would be great, and I remember buying it when I was making pittance, but I just loved her. I remember $325, which was so huge.
You're still making a pittance.
I know, and but now she's worth $1,700.
Wow.
And also this watercolor that I bought in Bermuda. It's beautiful. They're all signed and numbered, framed, and beautiful. So there you go.
All right.
So anyway, you can get a lot of great stuff. They need bidders. It's tomorrow night from 4 to 7, and then the live auction starts at 7
Yes.
on Eastland Road.
And also, we're going to be getting a hold of Jim Winsveen, the winner of the lunch at the Canyon Crest Dining and Event Center with Kelly and Jill.
That's right.
And we'll be giving another one away in December for November.
That's right.
So go to our website at newsradio1310.com. Click on Win Lunch with Kelly and Jill.
Because if you want to have lunch with the Kelly class for the last time as co-host of Top Story, this would be the lunch to enter. Because from December 31st on, no one will ever see Kelly again. He will be in his ham radio basement or his voiceover booth, never to be seen again.
Oh, man, what can I say? I'm turning into a hermit.
You like being a hermit.
I do. I could be a hermit pretty easily.
I think we'll see that, won't we?
I could be one of those space explorers, that goes on a solo mission out to a new planet and sets up housekeeping out there,
The world is your oyster, pal.
Yeah. That's
So
right.
anyway, go out. There's a lot of things going on this weekend, but Home is Where the Art is.
Yeah.
Also, the public library, Desserts in the Stacks.
That's right. That's coming up.
Saturday,
And
7 to 9.
Don't forget Danielle Higman's display tonight at Magic Valley Arts Council.
Yep, raffle for a great painting.
So, man, there's just a lot of stuff here. We live in the cultural mecca of the western United States, right here in Twin Falls.
Okay.
Hey, thanks for joining us. Have a great weekend. We'll be back Monday. Goodbye, Jill.
Bye, Cal.